Alright, in this short video, I'll demonstrate you how you can easily the uh, call up Emacs in a convenient way, whether you want to call it on the terminal or TTY mode or in GUI mode. That means graphical version of Emacs. So it is pure convenience. If you made little changes and if you bind out some keys, which I did. Okay, so I'm going to show you how you can easily call up Emacs in a very easy manner. Okay, which is important if you are lean onto it, and if you spend a lot of your time inside it. So, or you might want to hop every now and then for different reason into that particular editor. So you are supposed to create some sort of some way to invoke it in a simple manner, which is what I have bounded it for me. It works for me. It might not work for you, or you probably have different way of doing. I could have think of zillions of way of doing the same thing, but I don't want to clobber your head with more than enough information. So I'm sticking here to three ways of getting things done. The bottom line of this video: to invoke EmacsClient. Did you hear I said EmacsClient? That means I have already Emacs daemon running. Okay, so it has a facility. If you run the Emacs daemon behind the scene, so the client will come up quicker than you expect. Okay, so it is a better way of invoking the editor, in this case Emacs. So without further ado, let me show you how you could do that things. Okay, so let me get into terminal, and first of all let me show you the daemon, which I started the Emacs daemon when I bring up my window manager. I'm using i3 window manager exclusively for past 7 years. So I bound something inside it-config. Simply call up Emacs with the bg daemon flag, which is written like this: Emacs-bg daemon. This exact syntax is inside my i3 window manager. So every time I bring up my i3 window manager, it start the Emacs daemon. Okay, so you could do this by hand on the terminal itself. If I press enter, it'll go ahead and bring up the daemon. Okay, so I'm not going to do that because I'm already running the daemon via that route. By when I invoke my window manager or get into my window manager, the Emacs daemon started in the background automatically. So to get a proof of it, just look into that. See, the daemon is running, you can see, right? And it started 2 days back, as you can see from the timestamp. So you should run Emacs daemon behind the scene to get things easy. Okay, so how do you bring it? It depends on the kind of environment you are in. If you are wholly on TTY, you could have bring it up with the boot sequence, or if you invoke any desktop environment or window environment, you could bind this particular stuff to bring up Emacs daemon with that facility. Okay, I'm repeating, I'm using i3 window manager for a long time. That is the sole window manager I've been using, so I have bounded it. So every time I invoke i3 window manager, So the Emacs daemon gets started behind the scene. Okay, so now I have a now if I have two alias. It depends what I'm doing, and because on TTY mode you are not able to do few stuff inside Emacs. Okay, one of the thing is that if you do not take advantage of the external program, and if you wanted to exclusively do it inside Emacs, some of the operation on TTY version of EmacsClient, that means when I run EmacsClient on terminal, that option is not going to work. For instance, you cannot see PDF on Emacs running on terminal. To see the PDF inside Emacs without getting help of the outside program means PDF rendering stuff, you need to run Emacs in a GUI version. Am I clear? Running Emacs on terminal will certainly help to do a lot of stuff, and most of the things work absolutely fine, no problem at all as far as I am concerned. I can make almost everything work on Emacs except few things. As I mentioned, one of the primary thing that if you wanted to see a PDF inside Emacs, then you have to run the Emacs GUI version. Okay, so I have a two alias which is inducted in my shell initialization file. I'm using bash, so it is inside my bash RC, which are look like this. Alias grape Emacs. Say you can ignore the middle one. If you see the, let me highlight it for you. See, this is how I call up Emacs in terminal. EmacsClient -tty. You can see I have highlighted that to call up Emacs on terminal, and you see I have client. I have aliased it to EG, that means Emacs GUI version, with the EmacsClient -c, which will bring up the the GUI version of Emacs. Okay, so you can see these aliases are inducted in my bash RC. Okay, if you are interested, you can pick on it in my GitHub repo under dot files repository. It should be there. Okay, so anyway, let me one more thing. I have, as I said, I'm sitting on i3 window manager, so I have bounded both the alias with a specific key which will spawn up Emacs as per my requirement. Okay, to open the terminal version of Emacs, I have bounded it to mod plus 11. Okay, and for the GUI version of Emacs to spawn up, I have bounded it with mod plus 12. It could be different for you, but this key combination I have bounded, so whenever I press those keys, the EmacsClient pop up. Okay, if I press, let me show you, if I press mod and F11, say I press mod and F12 now, it brings up Emacs GUI version to me. Okay, all I did, I press mod, which is alt in my system, and F12, which brings up Emacs GUI version. Okay, so now if I wanted to open up a terminal version of Emacs, which I have bounded with mod shift and Y. Okay, let's not get confused. I have shown you how you could invoke Emacs as a GUI client with the help of mod plus F12, which I have bounded in my machine, so it will pop up a Emacs GUI client. Now I'm going to show you how you can open Emacs in TTY, that's in terminal. In my case, I have bounded with mod shift and Y. Okay, so let me invoke it, mod shift and Y. See, it open up a floating Emacs terminal client for me. Okay, so you can see you can easily place that in any workspace of your choice, whatever the D or window manager you are running. I make it floating so I can access it from anywhere in the system. So all I did, this is the terminal version of Emacs. Okay, so I just bounded a key, mod shift and Y, which brings up the Emacs terminal client. That's why this is written like this, Emacs client -tty. This is the command I invoke with mod shift Y. If I press mod shift Y, this command is going to invoke and bring up this floating Emacs client for me. Okay, so you get it, right? So this is how you can invoke the, there are zillions ways, but this is the convenient, this is the way I bring up my Emacs, and most of the time I'm on TTY mode of Emacs, and I rarely use Emacs GUI, especially if I wanted to do something which required Emacs GUI, like PDF rendering inside Emacs, one of the instance. Then I invoke with Emacs with a mod and F12. If I see, you can see in the background there is a GUI version. See, on the right hand side, it's a GUI version has popped up. Okay, so this is how I juggles between Emacs GUI version client and Emacs terminal virtual client. With the help of the window manager I am sitting on, I simply bounded two different keys to invoke it, and it is very convenient to me because the Emacs daemon running behind the scene, so it spawn up the client in a very quick time. Okay, so I hope this will be useful to some people. That's why I made this video. Okay, so I hope it will be useful. Thanks for watching.